Hi, I'm Trevor Hurst. If there was a way for you to make a decent income on the side part-time, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 or more per annum with just a few minutes work a day, after hours, from home, you'd want to know about it, wouldn't you? I'm sure you would. Well, the thing is you can. It's not that hard. You'd be surprised. I spent several years developing the ShareStar system with you in mind and with that need in mind. You can do this without the risk. Now, already you're thinking, oh, how can that be? Pull the other leg. There's always risk in the share market. It's a casino, isn't it? That's what a lot of folk think. Well, it's not been my experience. In fact, I've spent several years refining and developing my systems with that in mind. In fact, that's central to everything that we do. Elimination of the risk is central to everything that we do. And so we've got that down pat. It's not a problem, and it's only a matter of learning how. You'd be surprised what we can do. But before we go into that, just think for yourself for a moment, what would you do if this was possible? If you could do this, what would you do with the money? I mean, have you ever thought about that? Maybe you haven't thought about that. Maybe you shut down because you don't think you can. And so you don't dare think such things and dream such big dreams. But what if you could? Would you get a new home? Would you pay off the existing home? Would you get a new boat or a new car or fix the old car or send your kids to a better school? The ladies would like more shoes, I'm sure, and that kind of thing. Better holidays. Maybe you'd just like to save it and compound it. If you can compound really good returns, which I'll show you in a moment, and an example, if you can compound those for a few years, you can become incredibly wealthy. People don't realize just how powerful the compound curve is, and when you apply it to our systems, you'd be amazed. Maybe maybe you've lost your job. What would happen if you lost your job? How long could you last without an income? All of these things should be considered. It's easy to slack off after work and watch TV because you're tired or whatever, but this is just a few minutes work after hours on your computer. Modern technology is wonderful. It's enabled us to do things we couldn't dream of just a few years ago, and that's where I'm coming from with my ShareStar system. I encourage you to look at this closely and check it out. Just click the link below once this video is over and just inquire. We're not in the business of hard selling you. We shouldn't have to hard sell you on the idea of getting ahead financially and not handing your future over to some advisor who probably gets rich on your commissions that he earns. Not that advisors are bad, but you've got to understand the risks there are with the advisors. And so we're here to help you do it for yourself and learn how to control your own financial future. And here's an example coming up now of just the sort of thing that we can do. Once this is over, as I said, come back and click on the link below and just inquire, just ask about, show us some more. Show me some more. Don't just dismiss it as being, promises and, a lot of rubbish, because you'd be surprised. I can prove it to you. The thing is, are you interested enough? Do you have a big enough dream, big enough goal, big enough desire to want to do something with it? Here's a quick example of the kind of thing we can do all day long with the ShareStar system. Here's a chart which, as you can see, has been going pretty much sideways through here for some months, about 6 months or something. And if you look closely, you'll see that there's mauve dots here. They represent resistance and support. The price comes up over here on the left and hits those mauve dots and backs off. It then gets through here and runs away for a while. Then it comes down and bounces off that same line there, struggles with it all through here, and again struggles with it all through there. And then here you can see it clears out. Price jumps quite strongly. In fact, it jumps a bit too strongly. It jumps above that top blue line there, which we don't like. We want it to come back inside that before we buy the stock. But it looks to be clear now of all this struggle with these mauve dots, which is a resistance line when the price is under it. So it's come down and bounced here nicely now, and that bar there says, look, here's your chance to buy the stock. I'm clear of all this rubbish now. I'm on my way. How do we know? This little squeeze in here warns us that a substantial price move is about to begin. It's already started. It's just come back inside, which is normal, and bounced, and that's telling us that here's a second chance, if you like, to buy that stock. And so we buy next morning there, as you can see, at 27.5 cents. Now, this black line represents a stop loss. That means if anything goes wrong, we'll jump clear. This could go back down. We don't know for sure. It's unlikely because all of our systems here warn us it's going to move and the direction is clearly up. And so there's a very small chance it can go back down. But that is a chance. And so we won't take risks. We have that there to protect ourselves in case it goes south and goes through there. If it does, we sell immediately, and that would protect us from any losses. And that little bit there that we would lose, that's a business expense and is therefore tax deductible. It's not a loss in our terminology. That's why it's called a stop loss. It stops losses. Anyway, we bought the stock there now, $5,000 trade, because our turnover said we can take a $5,000 trade. Turnover is $258,000. That limits it to $5,000. So let's go. Now, what happens after that? Let's just show you what happened. It runs up nicely. And we move our stop up, by the way, as it goes. We actually chase the thing up. So up here someplace we cannot lose, because we've got a good profit in the bag now. And in fact, we would use that green line typically as our stop loss at this point in time. It could be higher, but at least that level there is our stop loss now, which means that it comes back and goes through there, we can't lose anything. It's a good place to be. You've removed all of the risk from this trade. There wasn't any risk in the first place, but now you can't lose. That's a pretty good place to be. And so what we now have there is another one of those patterns warning us that here comes another move. Now the price has come down through that green line, and we were getting ready to sell based on this pattern here, and the fact it's gone through that support line. The green line represents support. As you can see, it bounced off it there and bounced off it back here, but it's gone back up again. And so now we wouldn't be surprised if it reverses, and if it does, we'll sell straight away. What's it going to do? It sort of reverses, but not sufficiently, and now it's gone back through again. So we're just not sure. Now it's come back to test it again as support. Now it's gone back. It should bounce now on the top side, actually. What's it going to do? No, it's gone through, but only just. Now that's a worry. That's warning us that we maybe should look to sell. A bit like this bar over here. There's an acceleration pattern there, and the direction looks to be down. And we might sell next morning. Some traders would. And so you could sell there, and you'd be fine if you did. We might just wait a little bit longer just to be sure. And it goes back up again. You're thinking, oh, gee. We've learned over the years not to trust anything, and just take your time and don't be in a hurry. Don't be too trigger happy. And so we're watching now to see which way it's going to go. It looks like up, and of course that means you could buy some more. And of course, yep, looks very good actually. And then no, it is heading back the other way. And so now that's really telling us, look, there's a series of red bars there. It's heading down, and that pattern there says here comes an acceleration, and that's going to erode our profits, which we don't need. We've made very good money here. Let's just take our profit and go. And so we sell there next morning at 53.5. That would be a typical exit point, or maybe back in here. If you did buy on that bar there because you thought it was going to go back up, you now stopped out for a very small loss, which is not a loss in our world again. As I said before, you have a stop loss just in here, and should it go through there, you'd sell. And that little loss would be a tax deduction. So it's just a cost of doing business. So in this situation here, we bought down there at 27.5, $5,000 trade, sold up here about 4.5 months later at 53.5, and that's about pretty much doubling your money, a 95% profit on a $5,000 trade, almost $10,000 now you can cash in when you sell there, 22nd of February 2011, and that's a nice little trade. And that's the kind of thing we can do all day long with the ShareStar system. We know when to buy and we know when to sell, and we won't take the risks. What occurred after that? Let's have a look and see. There it is. It fell quite strongly, as you can see. Came down, bounced off those mauve dots, came back up, went straight through them, and now it's come back and bounced off them again on the underside. So it's heading south now. So we've been out all this time. I'm not prepared to take losses. That's what you call risk control, or risk minimization, or risk elimination. We don't call that risk, as I said before, because we know exactly what we're doing, what to buy, when to sell. And that's a classic example of what you do at ShareStar all day long. You can do this too. Anytime you choose to learn, we're happy to teach you. Well, there you have it. That's a quick example of what's possible. And anybody can learn how to do that. You can learn how to do this. Even school kids can learn how to do this. It's so simple. The question is not can you. The question is, will you? Do you have enough need, enough desire to want to go ahead and learn more about this and make that sort of money for yourself? It certainly is possible. Question is up to you. So click on the link below and just look for more information. Ask for more information. It's available to you. Just all you've got to do is ask. We're not going to hassle you. Not going to hard sell you. We shouldn't have to hard sell you on wanting to get ahead financially. So click on the link below and ask for more information and to see more. There's plenty more available for you if you have the interest and the desire. It's over to you.